Jeremiah Smith's right. This Ohio State team's working harder than ever, and they're about to prove every doubter wrong.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to your Tuesday edition of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Jay Stevens, veteran sports talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes. And during today's show, we will discuss Ohio State's mission during the season, as well as the impact more intense workouts will have on the team. But first, this year, like most years, finds a lot of people that have national voices talking bad about Ohio State. Paul Feinbaum being one of them that is discussing the doubt they have in Ryan Day in Ohio State's team. And when there are people around the country talking about how much doubt they have in the team you're on, it might annoy you. And it currently annoys Jeremiah Smith, a guy that has been working very, very hard and grinding to have a monster sophomore year at Ohio State. And when Jeremiah Smith discusses the confidence he has in Ohio State and that he's determined to lead the Buckeyes to prove the doubters wrong, you can't believe him. He had a monster freshman year. I believe he's going to have another monster year this year. And as he is leading the team and leading the charge, you can believe that Jeremiah Smith and the Buckeyes will prove the doubters wrong. Yes, it's the offseason, but that's okay. This team is working harder than ever. Their workouts are very intense, and I believe Jeremiah Smith is going to help everybody on the team keep their minds right and stay focused on the task, which is to win the games they play in the fall. And it's easier said than done that your mission is to win every single game, because you have to actually go out on the field and play the games. Well, when you go out there and play the games, you can look back at some of the things that happened in the offseason and some of the things that you did to build team chemistry and to build camaraderie and to keep the morale high. You can look back at all of those things as a leader on the team and say, man, I'm confident with the guy in the guy next to me. I'm confident with the guy playing D tackle when I'm not on the field. I'm confident in that safety. I've gone against him every single day. He's gotten the best of me. I've gotten the best of him, and we're making each other better. Next thing you know, that time where he got you, he gets another receiver. Hey, pick six. Why? Because you're making each other better, because iron sharpens iron. And I wouldn't say that about every team out there in the country, that going up against the opposite team starter is going to make you be prepared for any test that you're going to encounter in the season. But this is Ohio State. Ohio State's different. Ryan Day has done a great job of keeping the standard high after he followed a college football legend in Urban Meyer. It would have been very, very easy to ride Urban Meyer's coattails and to ride the success that Meyer had at Ohio State, to not keep the standard high. To say, oh, man, that's a lot of work. That's too hard. I know what I signed up for, but I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to go all out. It would have been very easy for Ryan Day to have that mindset. But no, he doesn't. Ryan Day wants to keep the standard high. Not only keep it high, but to have to go through the roof, because all you know, the ceiling is the roof. And you know that when that is the case, you know that it's going to be very hard to keep that standard as high as you want it to go. But Ryan Day has upped the level of quarterback play. He has upped the level of recruiting. He has done a lot of really good things to put Ohio State in a great place this year to prove the doubters wrong. Now, while they want to prove the doubters wrong, you got to have your leader to have confidence in the team. And Jeremiah Smith said this exact quote to Adam King of 10 TV there in Columbus in regards to his confidence and the things that are going on this year in regards to working out and simply proving the doubters wrong. Quote, a lot of people been doubting us. I've been saying it on Twitter and social media, so I can't wait to prove a lot of people wrong this year, end quote. Doesn't it seem kind of foolish that people would doubt Jeremiah Smith or doubt Ohio State? Yes. But you know what's very, very easy to do? Doubt a team like Ohio State. It's not in the Southeastern Conference. It's in the Big Ten. Easily the second best conference in the country. A team that just won the national championship. A team that you should be praising and singing all the highest praise you can for Ryan Day and Ohio State. But instead, you're trying to tear them down. That doesn't make sense to you, does it? No. If I want to think back to what USC did when I was a youngster in high school, what did USC do? They had year after year after year after year of elite quarterback play, year after year after year of top tier talent. They went to back national championship games. Why? Because they were that team. They were great. And you know what actually happens when you're there, especially USC at that time? You get the benefit of the doubt. I remember back at that time, was it Carson Palmer to Matt Leinart? I don't know the quarterbacks after that in sequence, but I do remember Matt Barkley being one of them, and I generally gave them the benefit of the doubt because of the track record that USC had at having elite quarterbacks. Why don't people give Ohio State the credit they deserve? And this isn't me trying to be an Ohio State person who's covering the team, just in general. Why don't people give Ohio State the credit they deserve? Because if you look at Ryan Day's tenure at Ohio State, 2019 made the 14 playoff, got bounced by Clemson. If it was a different read on one play by Justin Fields, you can eliminate everything else and say, well, this is why Ohio State won. Well, actually, Justin Fields threw an interception that was a miscommunication on a route where Chris Olave went one way, the ball was thrown another. Nolan Turner of Clemson caught the interception, game over. Literally, you can erase all the other mess, all the other issues Ohio State had. If Justin Fields and Chris Olave were on the same page on one particular play in the latter part of the game, Ohio State wins that, goes on to play LSU, and that would have been a big-time matchup. 2020, Ryan Day's second year, goes on to the national championship. 2021, okay, don't make the playoff, you win the Rose Bowl. 2022, you lose to Georgia in the playoff, a 14 playoff. 2023, ended in a way nobody wanted it to. Lost to Michigan, lost in the Cotton Bowl. 2024, you win the national championship. And I lay it out like that on purpose because if you look at that track record of Ryan Day since he's been at Ohio State, his worst is a New Year's Six Bowl. His worst. His best is a national championship. Right under that is a national championship celebration appearance. Excuse me. So why don't Ryan Day and the Buckeyes get the benefit of the doubt when in this sport you can look out there and say, well, Alabama gets the benefit of the doubt or Kirby Smart gets the benefit of the doubt. People believe that Dabo Swinney, once he figures out the portal thing and figures out a way to navigate this new world of college football, Dabo Swinney and Clemson will be able to be a team that is a force to be a national championship contender. I am one of them. I am a person that I still believe in Clemson. But I think Clemson is going to be a team that should be an early favorite to win a national championship. That's not saying I don't think Ohio State can be there. But I think Clemson has a lot of good on their team, just like Ohio State. And for some reason, people don't give Ohio State the benefit of the doubt. Is it because they want clickbait ideas and thoughts to come through in what they say or in what they write to get more clicks? Maybe. Is it something they genuinely believe? Sometimes it is. But the Buckeyes don't get the benefit of the doubt. And when they don't get the benefit of the doubt, Jeremiah Smith knows that. Jeremiah Smith realizes what Ohio State is, what it means to be a Buckeye, and also he understands teams and people are going to keep throwing darts your way because they don't want to believe in what you got going on inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. And while that's the case, you can't allow that to derail you from your mission and the confidence you have in your team. Jeremiah Smith's one of the leaders. He's one of the three players representing the Buckeyes at Big Ten Media Days, entering his second season. I believe he's the first guy in Ryan Day's era of being the head coach to be a second-year guy to represent Ohio State at the annual kickoff of the Big Ten football season. That's huge. What's also huge is that Jeremiah Smith believes in his team. He has no doubt in the players. And when he is confident in what the team can do, everybody else should be confident in the team as well. And the doubters, those that are just trying to doubt the Buckeyes, just doubt them, should shut their mouths because they might look very, very foolish at the end of the day. And one reason why they might look very, very foolish at the end of the day is because the Buckeyes have had some pretty intense workouts in the offseason to help prepare them for what could be a very special year. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last minute deals. Ever wonder what your view will actually look like before you buy? The app shows you a panoramic seat view, so there are no surprises. With Game Time, the price you see is a price you pay, no hidden fees. Worried about what happens if plans change? The Game Time Guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and more. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account and redeem code LCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you all for tapping and Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Ohio State, with Jeremiah Smith being one of the leaders of the team, has been working hard for the upcoming year. Ohio State has an opportunity to do something that has never been done in the storied history of Ohio State football, which is to win back-to-back national championships. You know what's hard to do? Win back-to-back national championships. You know what's harder to do? Win back-to-back national championships with two different starting quarterbacks. That's difficult. Very, very, very difficult. And while it's difficult, it can be done, but you got to put in work right now to help that thing happen. Ohio State's going to have a different starting quarterback this year. My gut says it's going to be Julian Sand. He's going to be slinging the ball to Jeremiah Smith, Cardinal Tate, Brandon Ennis, Max Clare, Will Kazmarek, maybe Quincy Porter, and Mylan Graham and Bryson Rogers as well. I mean, the receiving room is full with top-end talent. Get missed with the stars. It's just top-end talent that's going to fit in very, very well with Ohio State. Well, while that talent is expected to fit in very, very well with the Buckeyes this year, this team must do something a little bit different than last year's team, where last year's team had a track record of success. They had been around Ohio State for 4, sometimes 5 years. And so the coaches knew in the offseason what buttons to push to get them prepared for the upcoming year. They knew exactly how to get them going, how to get their motor all the way up, get that thing revved up to top gear very, very quickly. Where this year's team doesn't have a lot of guys that have played a lot of football. I mean, as Ryan Day discussed the spring ball format for this year, there were 3 separate groups. Guys that haven't played any football, guys that have played a little bit of football, and guys that have played a lot of football. I mean, look at Ohio State this year. How many guys do you think would be in the category of being a person that has played a lot of football? Not many. Not many at all. I mean, even Caden Curry and K-Jack, they played a little bit of football. They ain't played a lot of football. You know who's played a lot of football at Ohio State? Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, IGB. You get the gist? These guys aren't just starters. They have played a lot of football. The majority of the group of guys that are going to be playing a whole lot are in that category of guys that have played a little bit of football. So how do you get guys that have played a little bit of football to rev up their engine to the gear it needs to be at in the offseason, at this point in the offseason, to rev it up even more and to get ready for fall camp? That's going to be a quicker installation period, a quicker ramp-up period, because you're playing Texas week 1. There is no time for a preseason game. There is no time for wasting any energy. No, you still have restrictions on how many hours you can spend with the team, which means Ohio State needs to make sure their workouts in the offseason are intense. And as Jeremiah Smith talked about with Adam King of 10 TV, he talked about his summer, his workouts, and how intense they have been. Quote, "I had a great summer. I just can't wait till everything transfers over to camp and the season. We put a lot of work in. Workouts this year, I could say it was harder than last year," end quote. And think about what that means for a guy that may be a newcomer or someone that's been around for a little bit, but is embarking on a bigger role where they are going to be starting for the very first time. And they know Jeremiah Smith has been working out with them, and they know that Jeremiah Smith has been putting in all the extra work, been lifting all the extra reps, been doing everything he needs to do to keep his body in tip-top shape to prepare for the upcoming year. And if you are someone that's about to embark upon a bigger role, you might be starting for the first time, and you see a guy who was hyped up like Jeremiah Smith, and you see a guy that's out there having the second lowest body fat on the team, gaining about 20 pounds of that good weight, running 22 miles per hour in a game, and you see him doing all of that stuff. And what is it going to do for you as you're getting ready to play a big role and to start on a team that could make a whole lot of noise this year? It's going to make you work harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. And more intense workouts are needed. I remember when I was playing football, my freshman and sophomore year. My freshman year, well, I was just getting acclimated to high school football. I had no idea what I was doing. I started playing football in 7th grade. I actually started two-a-day or practice that year, I think a week late due to some stuff that was going on. I believe I missed signups for a different sport. So I was like, oh, let's play football. And got on the football team. Well, 7th and 8th grade football at middle school, that was fun. A lot of fun. Did a lot of winning in 7th grade. Didn't do any winning in 8th grade. And then freshman year, we went 8-1. But that freshman year, that summer at Lawrence Central High School, those early morning workouts from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, an hour of lifting and an hour of running on the track. It was intense, man. It was tough, but it was needed to get me up to speed with what it means to simply be on a freshman football team. But that second year, my sophomore year, buddy, let me tell you. One, I had no idea the talent that was around me as a sophomore, as I was practicing now with the varsity, and there were guys that were seniors that were eager to get back on the field. They got bounced in the first round of the tournament in their junior year, which was my freshman year. So they're eager to get back on the field. They know they have a lot of talent that could make a deep tournament run. And the next thing you know, some workouts are pretty intense. The 400s, the 200s, the 100s. Man, that stuff was brutal. Two-a-days, my gosh. I remember in two-a-days my sophomore year, buddy, I lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks. And I was what, 15, 16 years old. I was like, man, my goodness. Two-a-days, I'm losing 10 pounds easy. Why? Because that stuff was intense. Because they had to ramp up our bodies and our minds to get ready for the physical grind of a season. The next thing you know, now JV, we did a lot of winning. I was not fortunate enough to play on varsity because the team was filled with seniors. But that varsity team, as they had very intense summer workouts, what did you find? You found that that team had an undefeated regular season. They were undefeated until their third game in the tournament, which was the sectional championship, where I believe we lost 41-14 against Warren Central, who went on to win, I believe, their second in a three-peat of state championships, maybe the second of four. I don't know, but I know they won at least 3 in a row. But that year meant a lot. I saw guys like Luther Rush and Will Glover and Dwayne Briscoe and Kyrie Abdullah. Those guys were seniors, man. I looked up to those dudes. And if I saw they're putting in the work and putting in all them extra reps and going all out every single day, I had to as well. And that goes for, I'm not going to say anybody else's name, but Jeremiah Smith. If Jeremiah Smith is going all out in more intense workouts than he had a year ago when he was named an Iron Buckeye a year ago, everybody else needs to follow the leader. Because he has already proven he has what it takes. He knows how to work to be one of the best players in the sport. Now, the best player in the sport. And if he is working like that, everybody else simply follow the leader. It may be a children's game or a song or things like that, but it's still something for us. Follow the man in charge. Jeremiah Smith is a leader on the team. It would shock me. I'd be shocked if he wasn't voted a captain this year. Normally doesn't happen for a guy that's a second-year guy. But Jeremiah Smith is different. And while he is different, everyone else is going to follow him so they can add some of his traits to make him different to their bag. And as they do that, these more intense workouts will help Ohio State stay focused on the mission. What is the mission for Ohio State in 2025? We'll answer that question next. Thank you all for tapping and Locked on Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Jeremiah Smith's confidence in this team to prove the doubters wrong is high, and I'm here for it, man. You want the kind of leader on your team, that person that's going to ride with his guys and push them to be the best they can be. I love it. Also, not only is his confidence high, but also these workouts this summer have been very, very intense. And for Jeremiah Smith, who was an Iron Buckeye a year ago, more intense workouts are going to make him better, and he's already got one Iron Buckeye honor this year. I wouldn't be shocked if he received another one at the end of summer workouts, because that young man is that kind of player. That young man is that kind of athlete. Well, all that is good. It's all geared towards Ohio State accomplishing their mission this year. What is Ohio State's mission this year? Well, accomplish all three of their goals, and we all know where it starts: beating the team up north. That's what Ryan Day, that's what those players say every single day. There's three missions, three goals every single year, which is the mission of the team to accomplish every goal. The first one every year: beat the team up north. Now, I was recently on a show with Jeremy Ivins of the Rock and Roll podcast there on the YouTube. Go out there and check it out on the YouTube there. Just type in Rock and Roll. It was a fun time. We talked about football, talked about a little bit about Florida State, a lot about Ohio State. Big Noon came up, ESPN came up, Keith Jackson came up, Brent Musburger, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit. I mean, it was a lot of just old time, just great conversation. Go back there and check it out. But one thing we talked about during that conversation was Ohio State's mission this year to beat Michigan. It's easier said than done. There have been times at Ohio State, I believe, what had more talent. I don't know if they were the better team, but Ohio State had more talent. Talent can't always win you games. Talent can't win you that game. You have to be the better team on that day to win that game. Well, that's part of Ohio State's mission this year, is to beat Michigan, because Ryan Day does want to be the Ohio State coach that has won national championship, but also has lost 5 straight to Michigan. You don't want to do that. No. Especially when you know that Michigan's going to have to deal with some potential NC2A penalties and being punished for their sign stealing. It's not a scandal. It actually happened. They stole signs, illegally stole signs, and they need to be punished for it. And when they need to be punished for it, Ohio State knows that. Ohio State last year, they got caught for stealing signs. Connor Stallions is gone. Jim Harbaugh, weirdo suspension, and all this stuff happens. Next thing you know, Ohio State didn't play good enough to beat Michigan. So this year, the mission, no matter what, beat Michigan. Well, what do you got to do to beat Michigan? Exactly what Jeremiah Smith is determined to do: prove the doubters wrong, keep his confidence high with his team, and to capitalize on the intense workouts during the offseason to help prepare Ohio State for what could be a very special year. The second goal Ohio State has set out to accomplish this year is to win the Big Ten championship, something Ohio State has not done since 2020. So you haven't beat Michigan since 2019. You haven't beat won the Big Ten since 2020. Why haven't they won the Big Ten championship since 2020? Well, every year that they haven't won the Big Ten title has been the year in which they lost to Michigan. Is there a connection between the two? Absolutely. 100%. 21 through 23, Michigan won the Big Ten crown after beating Ohio State. Last year, the Buckeyes lose to the Wolverines. Oregon goes on to beat Penn State to win the Big Ten title. If Ohio State beats Michigan last year, they would not have faced Michigan in the Big Ten title. They would have gone to the Big Ten championship. Do I think they would have won that game? I think it probably would have been a toss-up, but I think it would have been a really good game, probably the best game of the weekend. Win the Big Ten championship. Last but not least, the other goal for Ohio State is to win the national championship. Now, that one is a whole lot harder than winning the Big Ten crown. You're going to have to play more games. You're going to have a different grind. You may get a first-round bye to where you don't host a game in the shoe in December. I mean, there's a lot of stuff riding on that game. While there's a lot of stuff riding on that game, you still have a team that has a lot of talent. And I believe the Buckeyes have the talent to not only beat Michigan, to win the Big Ten crown, but to also win back-to-back natties. To do so, what do you have to do? One, you got to have the ball bounce your way. I mean, it happened last year against Texas. when Ohio State literally had the ball bounce their way right into Jack Sawyer's arms, 83 yards on the right sideline. Ryan Day had an out-of-body experience where he's jumping like a little kid, throws his headset up in the air in jubilation. I ain't mad at him, man. I mean, if you saw a play like that and you knew you cemented your spot in the natty, y'all, I would be acting a fool too. I'd be celebrating like crazy. I mean, we saw some videos after Ohio State beat Penn State last year of Ryan Day in the locker room and other coaches dancing and stuff like that. I mean, those are the things that are going to happen. And for Ohio State to have the type of celebration, you have to win the national championship. It's going to be hard. Very, very hard. But while it's hard, the Buckeyes can use the people that are doubting them as fuel. It's easier said than done. But I think we have all been there in our sports fandom, and when our favorite player has had somebody doubting them. I like Kobe Bryant, I like Reggie Miller. Everybody should like Mike. There are people out there that have doubted those players, maybe less doubting Michael Jordan than Kobe Bryant and Reggie Miller, but people have been out there doubting those athletes for what they can do as a player and what they can do as a competitor. And when you go out there and doubt them, what are they determined to do? Shut you up, to prove to you and to prove to everybody else that what you're saying is false, that your doubt is wrong, that the mission this team has set out to knock down is going to be accomplished. And I think for Ohio State this year, they must use their doubters as fuel. No matter if it's Paul Feinbaum or anybody else that has a national voice, use the doubters as fuel because you could look down, dig deep inside yourself on 3rd and 8 late in the third quarter when you're down 2 scores and think, man, think back to not only those summer workouts and those mat drills that were very intense, but also to the things that were circulating around the media on a random Tuesday because somebody decided to say, well, Ohio State's not going to do this. They're not going to do that. They have a good coach, but I can't trust this guy here. Why? Well, because it's Ohio State. It doesn't make sense. A lot of things that are said about the Buckeyes don't make any sense. Remember, let's think about something very quickly before we close up shop. If you look around college football right now, there are coaches and even programs that get the benefit of the doubt. Alabama right now is going to get the benefit of the doubt. Kalen DeBoer is a really good coach. Hasn't really done amazing things out of Alabama. I mean, when I say amazing, I mean at least make the playoff. That's bare minimum. No, he hasn't. Also, it's 1 year, so you can't say 1 year is going to be the end all be all for a coach. But it's 1 year. He's Kalen DeBoer going to get the benefit of the doubt. Alabama going to get the benefit of the doubt. You know who else is going to get the benefit of the doubt this year? Georgia, Clemson. Some people are even giving Curt Cignetti and Indiana the benefit of the doubt because of Curt Cignetti's track record of success at James Madison for what he did a year ago in Bloomington. People are giving him the benefit of the doubt. And as someone that has had a weird seat for the Hoosiers in my lifetime, I don't understand why they're doing that. I mean, I can understand how you come to that conclusion, but that program has never had back-to-back years like what they had last year. So why can you say, oh, man, I'm going to believe in them by bringing guys in from the portal and hiring the right coaches and the contract extension and getting the boost financially for the program? I'm going to believe in Indiana. Okay. I'll believe it when I see it. But people are giving them the benefit of the doubt. And those same people are doubting Ohio State, who has had more success than most of those programs, and at worst, they're right there. Now, granted, Georgia has won 2 natties in back-to-back years. Ohio State hasn't done that, so maybe Georgia's a little bit different, but even then, let's be real. People are giving Georgia and all these other schools more credit than I think they should, while also giving Ryan Day a slap in the face. It doesn't make sense. But it's Ohio State. People are going to doubt Ohio State. Some are going to say they're doubting because they hate us because they ain't us. I don't know if that's the reality of the situation, but if it is, I get it. Jeremiah Smith, his determination to prove the doubters wrong is huge. And I love that about him. I love his fire. I love how eager he is to get back on the field. I love that he's been open about saying, hey, these workouts this year have been harder. They were harder than last year. More intense workouts can lead to big time success on the field, as well as Ohio State's mission: beat Michigan, win the conference, win the national championship. That's the mission every year. And while that's the mission every year, every player at Ohio State, you can follow Sonny Styles, you can follow Caleb Downs, but also follow Jeremiah Smith. This trio of players are guys that are primed to put Ohio State in the right situation to be very successful this year and to accomplish all three of their goals. Thank you all for tapping Locked On Buckeyes right here on a Tuesday. And for making this show your first listen today, for your second, make sure you check out the portal, because my guy, Bryant Smith, he has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. You can find Locked On Buckeyes and the portal on the YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me on social media or any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. This has been Locked On Buckeyes right here on a Tuesday. We'll see you next time.